You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com, banging out the work. Got some breakfast, even though it's 2 p.m. It's good to eat breakfast at 2 p.m. You wake up at 9. How do you stay thin, Cappy? Well, you skip breakfast altogether. You wake up at 9, you do coffee. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I'm about to pass out from the lack of food. And then you have food. And then that's how you stay thin. I know it's hard. I know it's hard for Americans to lose weight. It's just so difficult to stop eating and exercise. I know. How will we ever unfold or unlock that secret, that mystery? Who knows? Hey, asshole, this will be a more philosophical request, but I thought you might find it interesting. First, some background on me. I'm 18, working fast food. I'm pursuing a degree in mechanical engineering. My dad was a cop killed on a line of duty when I was 5, so I was raised by my mom and her friends, and I was fed the usual bullshit about how all women want is a nice personality, and love is the most important, powerful place on the earth, and blah, blah, blah. As you can imagine, my high school game was practically non-existent, and I really didn't start acting like a man until about a year ago, when I started watching your videos and reading your books. Wow, good, thank you. Glad we could save you from a life of fucking hell. A while back, I started dating girls I don't like in order to practice for those that I do. Oh, I remember you, yeah. That's not the worst idea ever. Not the worst idea ever. Slowly but surely, this seems to be working. This is where my acting skills are useful because I can pretend I'm more interested than I actually am, or pretend to not be interested at all. One of these girls, let's just call her Jailbait, is a high school senior. Hey, make sure she's 18, dude. Oh, God. Know the state laws, too. They got some weird fucking laws out there. You're like, well, at 14 and a half, she's legal. But at 14 and 3/4, she's not if you're 73% older than her mother's ex-husband. High school senior who I met through a co-worker. While dating her, I discovered she's actually really fun to hang out with, so I dated her longer than I should have, and now she wants to have a serious relationship and recently asked me to be her prom date. Oh, fuck it, that's right. I forgot. Prom. That's a fucking thing, isn't it? I know she's young and stupid, but it got me thinking, if I could fake love that well and relatively easily, does real love have any actual value? It seems to me that love in and of itself is essentially worthless, more so than gender studies degree, and that the real value is the sex and agency that comes with having a family to support. All right, let's stop you right there, dude. You're just trying to be a puffed chest. Oh, I don't need love. No. Love is real. It's going to fucking crush you if you're unaware of it. It sneaks up on you, and all of a sudden you'll find out you're in love. You don't control it. And then you're going to be, you're going to be like a feminist. I don't need no man, fish bicycle. So don't be this fucking douchebag MGTOW thinking that love doesn't exist. You don't need no woman. I mean, you technically don't need a woman. Just as a feminist doesn't need, you technically just need to eat and breathe. Yes, that is true. That does not mean love doesn't exist, and that's not going to come up and sneak up on you. I mean, I for sure, if you're going to start as early as middle school for some people, and I'm going to say feminism, but it could be virgin towel stuff too. If you start that early and make the opposite sex your enemy, you will never get anyone close, let anyone close enough to you to fall in love. So you'll be deprived of that. So in that sense, I can see where a lot of feminists today, because they have about a 50-year jump on virgin towels, where I can see a lot of women hate men. Men are the enemy. They believed that they were told it, but worse, they believed it. Starting in the 7th grade, right about puberty or something. And now they are 40, 30, even 50 or whatever, and they've hated men all their life. They've never fallen in love. They don't know what it's like. Again, I am hard on the virgin towels because it's the same problem. They hate women. Not all of them, but most of them do. They hate women. They want nothing to do with women. Women are the enemy, and they've never given women a shot. So they'll never have the opportunity to fall in love. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You want to play that game? Oh, look at me. I don't need no... I mean, I appreciate your game. I appreciate dating girls that you have no interest in to hone your skills. I think that's brilliant. But knock it off with you're a fucking 18-year-old douche. You don't know shit. All right? You're still a moron. You don't stop being a moron until about like 30. All right? So you're going to find girls, and if you go into this blind thinking you don't need a girl and love isn't real, you're going to get your ass destroyed by it, because you will find a girl that you love, you will fuck it up, she'll be the one that got away, and you'll be like, oh fuck, I could have had something a lot better. Alright? And it's rare when it happens, but when it does, and you're not aware of it or ready to appreciate it when it happens, that is going to be probably the biggest regret you have in your life. Even worse than majoring in a women's studies gender degree. All right. Seems to me that love in and of itself is essentially worthless, more so than a gender studies degree, and that the real value is sex and agency that comes with having a family to support. That is also true. That exists in addition to love. Also, since dating is performance-based, does that mean you could go through all the motions of dating and relationships without actually having a crush on that girl and still do better than most men? Absolutely. Absolutely. There are, let's go back many years ago. Dating, marriage was really more of a business transaction. And you see this very prominently amongst go and read through English history. Okay, we're going to marry these people. I mean, children, princes and princesses were pawn pieces to, I'm going to have you marry my daughter with your son, and that way England and France have an allegiance. We're not going to fuck each other over. And even more recently than that, you go back into the farming days, 1800s. That Johnson boy, he comes from good stock. The Johnson family is very good. You do well to marry the Johnson boy, little Peggy Sue. And so there wasn't really as much love as there was business arrangement, stability, go make more Christians. You see this even today in the arranged marriages of East India. And it's a different ball of wax. It has nothing to do with love. It has to do with survival, economics, finances, genetics, stuff like that. And you can have a very good business relationship. I'd even say you could have a very good, stable nuclear family, but there's none of that passion of love. I think is kind of like more the jackpot. That's like the bonus round. You get dealt a pair of aces, you split, you get another pair of aces, you split, and then you get queen, 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 and you make a fucking shit ton. It's so rare to actually find love. And you see this with, they'll do an article about Herman and Ethel. They're celebrating their 70th wedding anniversary, and he's still pinching our ass. All right, what percent of the population is that, really, out of all the marriages? So, good marriage, a good family is where the husband and wife respect each other, work well together, and may or may not even be in love. Love is out of that. The bonus, the icing on the cake, the cherry on the sundae, is you get love on top of it. All right? But just because I'd say half of them end up in hate. Half of marriages end up in hate. 49% of the remainder are miserable or meh, but functional. But there's only really, I'd say, 1% of marriages or relationships that are in love. It's usually driven by genetics. Societal rules. Oh, you make more Muslims, you make more Christians. You gotta marry a good Christian boy. And then it's the Romeo and Juliet where it's forbidden love that conquers all. But that's incredibly rare. It's very rare. But it does happen. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Crush on a girl and still be married. So to answer your question, doesn't it mean you could go through all the motions of dating and relationships without actually having a crush on that girl and still be better off than most modern men? Yeah, and I would even say love. I'm going to say men are more not emotional, but they are more passionate than women. I think men fall more in love than a woman would fall in love with a man, and so. When you fall in love, not love, but love, like you want a banger and oh my god, this is it, and you put your heart and soul into it, you are not thinking up here. And since girls are not as passionate as men, they're more emotional, but not as passionate or serious about romance and love, they will be more prone to crush the guy or leave or take off while the guy's just absolutely devastated. Again, why women tend to recover more quickly from divorce than men. Because men, despite men being tough external and soft interior, I think men are more evolved when it comes to, I'd say, philosophical thought, passion, love, future, stuff like that. So they invest more emotional energy into it than women do. So not falling in love or love and then being able to more clearly, logically, uninfluenced by that downstairs, or even this right here, you could assess it more like a business transaction. That will hedge you against, like, I got a friend of mine. He looks at his relationship. Now, he went through hell. He went through hell with his ex. And he's like, this is never happening again. And so the girl he's dating, he made her sign a rental, a cohabitation agreement. And all the stuff in there is like, shields up, fuck you. If you do X, get the fuck out. You do Y, you're getting the fuck out. You're doing Z, you're going to get the fuck out. I mean, this guy had her, and she, I think, is actually in love with him. I don't know if he's capable of love. He's like, I like having this arrangement, but given what I went through before, we're going to have this arrangement 125% on my terms. And he is, and it's not love. It's not love. It is a business transaction to him. Because I think Love playing got the shit kicked out of him at one. Yeah, he was capable of it. Now he's just like, oh no, not doing that again. But you could see his business defensive lawyer mind going through, okay, hold it. And to be honestly truthful, yeah, he's going to have a more productive relationship. There's no way this girl's going to screw him over. But it's not love or love. It's I like having you around. Your company is appreciated, and we can hang out according to these terms and contracts you will sign here. I'm nowhere near as experienced as you, but I like your opinion. Does love have any inherent value? And if it does, is it something that can be easily replaced or substituted? No, it cannot be easily replaced. It is so rare. It cannot be easily replaced or substituted. I'd say there's less than 3 girls I'm actually fallen genuine love in. And fucked fucked it all up with 2 of them. Because and here's another thing, especially when you're younger. I mean, you're a perfect example. This is a warning to all you young kids, male or female, doesn't matter. When you're young and just trying to get by, you're working fast food, going to school. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You're not worried about love and romance. You're worried about food. And the saber-toothed tiger's not attacking, and shelter. And that was a problem that I faced is one of these girls I dated, mommy and daddy paid for everything. And she loved me, and at the time I didn't know, but I loved her. And love was an academic, philosophical luxury. It was a theory. Because if I didn't eat, I didn't have clothing and shelter, I would not be alive to theoretically at some point in time down the road actually love that person or I'm in love, self-actualization. So when you're just like working fast food, or in my case, working nighttime security, trying to make ends meet, love and children and what is the meaning of love? It's really secondary. It's very moot. It's like, boy, I hope their bagels are on sale. I sure like bagels. I like First National bagels. They got them on sale. They're really cheap at Cub Foods. That's where your mind is. And then all of a sudden you get older, and a lot of older guys, they look back like, oh, fuck, there was a really nice girl that really did like me. And then they beat themselves up over it. And it's like, dude, do you realize where you were? You were in fucking Vietnam. You were in World War II. You're getting shot at. You were in Iraq. You were overseas. You had to worry. You had bigger, because even though love is the most important thing in the world and blah, 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 incredibly rare, it doesn't trump it. It's like, boy, I really would like to find a diamond. But when push comes to shove, if you need food, you're going to take food over a diamond because that's at least going to keep you alive. The diamond, again, is a luxury. And thus, I would say love is a lot of times a luxury for people that just, if you're barely able to survive, love may be a luxury you can't afford. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have any value. Love, if you can get it, is very valuable, very important, and should be very much cherished. Hopefully you grow up faster than the average person so that when it happens, especially when you're younger, that's probably when it's about to happen, you can identify it, appreciate it for what it is, and then savor it and capitalize on it. But it cannot be easily replaced or substituted. No. It just, you can have a functional, healthy business relationship. You can still have sex. You can still be physically attracted to the person. But actual love, no, that's so rare. I would say less than 1% of marriages actually have it. They have love, or love. I love you. There are literal arrangements, like my buddy with the contract, or the families with arranged marriages. But actual love is incredibly rare. And frankly, I'd say people in the West have been so spoiled with economic progress and the fruits of capitalism and free markets and innovation that you really have to be a selfless individual to know what it is, appreciate it, and love that person back. And frankly, there's too much government fucking money and too much materialism and bullshit for most people to grow as human beings and become mature enough to be capable of it and be able to handle it and appreciate it and capitalize it. It's just, I mean, God almighty, think of it this way. Okay, you're an 18-year-old kid, you go off to fight on Iwo Jima in 1945. You come back in 1946. As a 19-year-old, you're very mature and capable of love. But now you got Pajama Boy, all these little fucking bints and pussy men running around in college, even at the age of 26, are still living at home, and they're majoring in poetry and all that other gay crap. They're not capable. They're not capable of being a man. They're not capable of falling. There's certainly, and women the same thing. Not to pick on men, but you have to appreciate life and humanity before you can fall in love. And if you're just a spoiled net parasite, net economic consumer, you just consume, and you're looking at your phone all the time. You don't understand philosophy. You don't understand humanity. You don't understand love. And so I would say it's shrinking. The percentage of people that fall in love and actually are capable of love is going down the toilet. So, anyway, such a sad topic, but when you get to be like us old men, you do get it kicked out of you. I will tell you that. Like, a lot of people, oh, it's so sad. Girls are like, oh, it's so sad. I got a buddy. He is not. It's been, I think, 20 years. He's just he went through a hellish existence with this one girl. And he's just like, I'm done. I'm just done. And he's happier than punch, almost like a monk or a eunuch. He didn't have the surgery as a eunuch, but he's just like, yeah, that teens and 20s and early 30s, that was enough for him. And he just clocked out. And he's just been this kind of a Buddhist Zen level monk. Like, we almost envy the serenity and calm and peace that he has. And so a lot of people look at him, oh God, don't you want to fall in love? Love is everything. They sing songs about it on the top pop 40 charts. And he's like, no, reading a book it's just so much easier, so much cool, and he's perfectly happy. And so a lot of times you'll get it kicked. If you get old enough, you fall in love and you screw it up and all that, you'll get it kicked out of you. You'll lose a little bit of your humanity, but you kind of become impervious. You don't dabble in it anymore. It's like fire. You don't burn. You're just like, yeah, nah. And then you're like Steve McQueen cool. Then nothing really phases you. It's sad in one part, but if you ever get there, you're kind of like, it's not that bad. I'm going to go enjoy the finer things in life. Anybody want to come along? No, you got. See you later. Anyway, you guys got questions from your older brother, go to assholeconsulting.com. I, America's older brother, will take care of you and give you the truth for a price like all older brothers do. You can go to my blog, captaincapitalism.blogspot.com, and then you can listen to the podcast, the Clarity Podcast, on SoundCloud.com. We'll talk to you guys later. Toodles.